Hey guys, so I just bought this game called Stories, the part of Destinies, and when I went to play it I realized that the game is using the Unreal Engine 4 smooth frame rate feature. Now what this does is lock your frame rate at 62 FPS, and even if you have a higher refresh rate monitor, the game doesn't have the capability to use that higher refresh rate, so you're stuck at 62 FPS. So normally when I realize that the game is built on Unreal Engine, I go into my documents and try to search for the INI files. Now what I realized is that this game's INI files aren't available to the end user because the developer decided to lock all its files behind a pack file, so .pack file. After some research and failed attempts at searching the Steam forums for any advice at how to increase or uncap your FPS, I researched a bit on Unreal Engine 4 and found this Unreal Engine 4 pack file unpacker. Now what I did is just download this zippy share link, which is this one, and I downloaded the unpacker, and afterwards I could have access to the INI files, which I will show you right now. So you go on the games folder, and if you have the game, you can realize that I have many more folders than the usual ones. So for example, config wasn't listed here before I unpacked the .pack file. From here you can see that the unpacker unpacked all the INI files, and you can tinker with them and increase your refresh rate. Now I will show you how to do that in a second. First I will just mention how to use the unpacker. So my folders are already unpacked, but I will show you which file you need to unpack so you get all the folders and files you need to edit the settings. Now double click on the unpacker, click on this icon to browse, and then go in the folder of the game. So for me it's games on my SSD, Steam, Steam apps, common, and then stories, part of Destinies. Now from here you need to go into stories, content. Now in this folder you will only have a .pack file, which you will need to double click. Now mine is already unpacked, but I will show you the original file name, and which will be located in this folder called packs. So the original file name is stories-windows noeditor.pack. Now as I already stated, mine is already unpacked, so it is found in this folder instead. Now all you need to do is double click this and press unpack. Now I will not do this because my folders are already unpacked. Now to edit the INI file so that the game will run at a higher refresh rate, you just go on the folder again, so Steam, Steam apps, common, stories, part of Destinies. Now you go in the engine, so config, the config folder, and from here you go into base engine, and then config, and double and right click and open base engine with either a notepad or a WordPad. I chose WordPad personally, but it doesn't matter. So open the INI files with a WordPad, and afterwards on your keyboard press Ctrl F, so the file menu box will pop up, and in it type smooth. And as you can see, the game is using the smooth frame rate feature. Now what we will do now is change this true setting, this true value to false, and just in case I also change the minimum and maximum value of the smoothness. So the minimum value is 22 FPS, and I will change it to 146. And the maximum value I will also change it to 146. Now you have to do this about 3 times, so just search for smooth again. So through smooth frame rate is false right here because I already had changed it, and change these values as well here. You can change them to whatever the desired refresh rate you want, but I have a 144 Hertz refresh rate monitor, and I prefer to set the maximum amount of FPS to be set at 146, because if I set it to 144, there might be some input lag associated with VSync. So as I stated before, I will change this to 146. Again, I'll search for another smooth frame rate setting. Okay, so we have disabled all the smooth frame rate settings. So just save that and close the engine.ini. So after you have closed base engine.ini and you have changed the values, I will show you now how from 62 FPS capped, the game is running at a smoother and higher frame rate. So I will open the game. Now I will just load in fraps, so you can see the frame rate displayed on the screen. Okay, so as you can see here on the top left, you can see that it is running not at 62 FPS, but at currently at 92 FPS. So it has been uncapped, but let's go in game to check the refresh rate there. Now as you can see at the top left there, it's running at almost 100 FPS right now. Now I'm running, as I stated before, I'm running sweet effects, and I'm running forced anti-aliasing on this game. So if I disable sweet effects and the anti-aliasing, you can see that it is running at almost 120 FPS now. There's nothing wrong with doing this tweak. Personally, I have no idea why the developer didn't just give the end user the INI file. But through this tweak, you can have a higher refresh rate in this game. So that's pretty much it. If you have any queries, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Thanks.